Welcome to another episode of EpiShodo. And last time I made this cool visor with butterfly and mizuhiki with the stencil that I created out of just a plastic thing, and I decided I wanted to use the stencil again on these sneakers, which I got from Uniqlo for 1,000 yen on discount. So I just pasted the stencil onto the front of the sneaker with some double-sided tape, and I began to just paint around it with some acrylic black paint, very simple, and just trying to get around it and not touch the stencil or the edges. But as I was painting, it was a little bit difficult to keep from not painting the bottom edge, so I put some masking tape around just to keep it more protected, and just so it's a little bit easier to paint and not and focus on the painting and not so much on not getting the other parts painted. It was a bit hard because the curve, it's a curve, and obviously the masking tape is straight, so I had to do a lot of strips to make the curve, but it was quite helpful. And I tried this sponge technique, which had worked on the visor, to get into the small detailed areas of the stencil, and just using kind of a dabbing effect of just dabbing it from the top and not using too much paint at a time. So it takes a little more time, but you get a better result this way, rather than using just a bunch of paint at one time. And after that, I just went in ahead to get more of the details, and starting with the other shoe, doing basically the same process. This time I went ahead, I kept figuring out after the fact that I should have masks. So I recommend doing the masking tape first before painting. So yeah, so this time I just went ahead and used the sponge from the get-go, because I found that was a better strategy, and just got into the details more. And I actually also used a black marker to get into the really tiny crevices of the stencil that were really hard to get with paint. I really did not want the paint to get in under the stencil, because that would have been a bit tough to fix. So I went ahead. So the challenging part of this was that the sneaker's natural design with the rubber part white and the material part black, I had to do half black, half white with the stencil, and put little masking tape around where the shoelaces are, because I didn't want that part to be painted. So it was a little challenging. I also had to use the stick strategy to really make sure the paint did not go under the stencil. It was a little bit of a different texture, obviously, with the rubber part and the fabric part, so I couldn't use the sponge on the fabric. So really just using a lot more paint, a lot more strokes, and a lot more dabbing. But I found that it took quite well, the black material with the white paint. Again, just using some acrylics, quite accessible materials here. It's a lot of fine details, and it took a lot of patience. So finally got it done, and the next step, I decided to just dry it with my hair dryer before taking off the stencils, just to make sure everything was really dry. and it came off quite well. But as you can see, there's a few little areas that did get painted under, and I just went back with the marker and paint to fix those things. I thought it came out quite well, considering the half black, half white effects, which came out pretty cool. Just giving it another overlook and seeing which areas I could fix or touch up, and I noticed that as I dried it, the white kind of started fading within the black, so I decided to just go back again a little more on the white. I really wanted it to be very stark white, like really white. So overall, really good result. Kind of artsy, not perfect, which is fine. This was a really fun project to do. I'm glad I was able to use the stencil again. I got some waterproof spray from the dollar store, Daiso, and I really recommend it just to protect the design from rain or whatever. I actually wore the shoes a little bit and had a lot of people thinking I bought them at the store, so that was quite great. And I'm glad I could wear it as a set with the visor, so that was really cute. I'd like to know what you think about it, how it came out. Do you think you'd like to try something like this? Let me know. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next EpiShodo video. Ciao!